Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of our monochromatic portraits. Now we have drawn our portrait, we have traced with Sharpie, and we are ready to add color. But first, let's review what monochromatic even means. To do that, let's go back and talk about the color wheel. Now this is a color wheel with primary and secondary colors on it. These colors are called hues, H-U-E, a hue. When you add white to a hue, you get a tint. When you add gray to a hue, you get a tone. And when you add black to a hue, you get a shade. This is called value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color, so it's those tints, tones, and shades that we've been learning about. Now, what does this have to do with the word monochromatic? Well, the root mono means one, and the root chrome means color. So monochromatic means one color. So how are we going to make our art monochromatic? That means we are only going to use the hues, tints, tones, and shades of one color. For example, if I wanted to choose green, I could choose regular green, light green, and dark green, and that would make a monochromatic color scheme. Now it's time for a game. Let's see if you know the difference between monochromatic and not monochromatic. I'm going to show you a picture of an artwork. I want you to raise your hand if you think that artwork is monochromatic. If you think it is not monochromatic, keep your hand down. Here's the first one. Raise your hand if you think this artwork is monochromatic, meaning using only one color. If you kept your hand down, you're right. That artwork was not monochromatic. It had lots of different colors. Here's the next one. Raise your hand if you think this artwork is monochromatic. If you raised your hand, you're right. That artwork was monochromatic. It only used the tints, tones, and shades of green. How about this one? Raise your hand if you think this painting is monochromatic. If your hand's up, you're right. That was only all the shades of pink used, no other colors. How about this landscape painting? Raise your hand if you think it's monochromatic. If you kept your hand down, you're right. That painting was not monochromatic. It had lots of blues, greens, and yellows. What about this awesome artwork? Raise your hand if you think this one's monochromatic. I have a feeling you're getting good at this. That one was not monochromatic because it had more than one color used. Here's our last example. Raise your hand if you think this artwork is monochromatic. If your hand is up, you're right, that was monochromatic. It used blue and all of the tints, tones, and shades of blue. So how are we going to make our portraits monochromatic? Well, the first thing you're going to do is decide what color you want to use. Remember, whatever color you choose, you're going to use the tints, tones, and shades of that color. So if you choose orange, you're going to use orange and light orange and dark orange. And if you choose green, you're going to use light green and dark green and regular green. So decide which color you would like to color your portrait with. I decided on purple because purple is one of my favorite colors. So the first thing I did was find a purple crayon, or you could use a colored pencil. That will be the best thing to use for the skin. Now, I know our skin is not purple, but remember, we are doing a monochromatic portrait, so it does not need to be realistic. Now, am I scribbling my whole picture with just one crayon and saying, done? No, we need to use different types of our color to show variation in our portrait. So I'm choosing kind of a medium purple for the skin. Then I'm going to look for a purple marker, which is going to have a different effect for different parts of the eyes and maybe the hair. And then I'm going to use a darker purple on the shirt as well. So we have different types of our color. We are not just choosing one crayon and coloring the whole thing the same color. That is not what monochromatic means. Monochromatic means we're using the tints, tones, and shades, which means light and dark of our color, to create a portrait. That is monochromatic. Make sure you're taking your time, doing your best, filling up all the white spots. You can add designs or lines to your portrait. I am filling in the hair with that darker purple crayon, but even though I'm coloring with a dark purple crayon next to the dark purple marker, it looks different because of the differences between a crayon and a marker. And colored pencil will get you that difference too if you have it. So, if you need help, raise your hand and let me know. Otherwise, we're going to get started on coloring our monochromatic portraits. But also, don't forget your background. I don't want to color my entire background the same color because then my hair might blend in with the background, right? So I'm choosing to do just a pattern in the background. Not coloring the entire thing, but doing some light purple and dark purple stripes to keep with that monochromatic color scheme, but still give an interesting background. And of course, you don't have to do stripes. You could do polka dots or swirls or other types of lines or shapes as the pattern in your background. It's up to you. Let me know if you have any questions.